Please note that the data we will be using are not coming from any bank's exposure and are based on dummy data representing a portfolio of a large bank. The first way of monitoring and analyzing this information is to leverage pre-configured dashboards, which have been created, and selecting the counterparty you want to analyze. While pre-configured, the dashboards are also completely customizable and other dashboards can be created. Let's select Goldman Sachs. You immediately see the updated information, starting with the market risk analysis, which is mainly sensitivity-based. On the dashboard, you can see the sensitivities split by asset class. You see a graph representation of the same risk per currency and asset class, and the list of trades with their own sensitivities. From this aggregated view, you can zoom in on a specific asset class. For example, by clicking on FX Forward, it is automatically updating the various views to focus only on FX Forward trades. You see, for example, on the right, the list of forward trades you have in your portfolio facing Goldman Sachs. You can select other asset classes and products, like interest rate swap. At the top left, you see the certification status of the counterparty, which we will come back to shortly. Last but not least, just below, you see the CVA and DVA calculated for this counterparty. Another view you can explore is a credit exposure analysis, where you see, for the same counterparty, all of the various ISDA and CSAs and other legal contracts you have. From this aggregated view, you can select one CSA, for example. You can then see the details of the contract. Here we are only displaying base currency, eligible currencies, minimum amount, and threshold amount, but other details can be displayed. You can also see all of the collaterals with their details, which have been pledged or received for this contract to match the mark-to-market. Finally, you can see the list of trades which are attached to this CSA, with their details and mark-to-market. The entire left part of the dashboard is managed automatically by the selection of the contract, while the right part of the dashboard is displaying counterparty information. The table at the top right displays the standardized approach CCR metrics like EAD, PFE, replacement cost, and mark-to-market. The two charts on the right display various projected information. At the bottom, we see the projected mark-to-market on the various time horizons. In the middle, you see EPE and PFE collateralized and total based on Monte Carlo calculation. By selecting another counterparty, like JP Morgan, we immediately get the same level of information for this new counterparty. On top of the pre-configured dashboards we have just explored together, and which are fully configurable per user or per group of users, you can drill in the various information leveraging pivot tables and slicing and dicing as you like. For example, from this aggregated view, which summarizes the overall exposure per counterparty in terms of risk and mark-to-market, you can enrich it by adding new dimensions, like maturity, and immediately rerun your query and get more granular results. You can obviously remove dimensions at your convenience. From this view, you can drill automatically to get the exposure per currency. By clicking on Visa, for example, you see automatically the currency split. In the same logic of drilling, you can go to a more granular level into trade level information, summarizing the various details of the transactions. You can also explore the credit exposure by selecting a contract and drilling through the logic you would like to follow. With OpenSea, you not only have access to spot information, but you can leverage the unique combination of granularity and history and explore the evolution of any detail of your exposure. For example, if you want to explore your sensitivities for interest rate risk for two specific economic sectors, you can create this pivot and the associated chart. On top of navigating the entire available data, you can run more complex calculations like CVA and DVA per counterparty and get the marginal trade contribution. We already displayed SA, CCR, and other types of calculations, which can be either ingested or calculated within OpenSea. These are by no means the only credit indicators you may implement and configure within the system. We have already seen in the first section that OpenSea offers a certification flag, which was highlighted in the Market Risk Analysis dashboard. This is one of the options the Data Quality and Certification module of OpenSea delivers, including AI outlier detection. Another illustration is the Data Quality KPI dashboard, where data owners and users can check the accuracy of their various data based on configurable rules defined by the users. By selecting the counterparty, like Millennium Partners, you see an example of the completeness and uniqueness checks done automatically. You can zoom in on specific dates or rules. From this aggregated view, users can adjust the errors with full auditability and transparency before certifying their data at a counterparty level or any other configured dimension. OpenSea users are not limited to past or current exposures and can also leverage the rich data versioning module mentioned previously for data adjustments, but in the context of what-if simulation. Let's start by exploring how you can unwind a trade or book a new trade and see the impact on the fly, both at a granular level and a counterparty level. Users can either create a new trade or unwind an existing trade, as shown here, and see immediately in the UI the differences at any level of granularity. By clicking on Refresh on the first table, users can see, for example, the differences in terms of risk coming from the unwind and access the new information, and see the new currency split by clicking on the second table. This new portfolio can then be used to rerun all the various risk metrics like CVA, SA-CCR, and others, and display them accordingly. In this short video, we have demoed at a very high level several rich features of the OpenSea platform, empowering front office and risk teams to access and share certified counterparty credit risk and client data in one holistic consolidated view at the client level, with the ability to configure, analyze, and visualize autonomously, as well as simulate the incremental impact of any new trading activity and optimize client and collateral exposures. Other types of risk can also be ingested or calculated within OpenSea. OpenSea is a top-ranked award-winning platform, and our team of capital markets and technology experts is fully committed to fast implementation and project delivery.